Okay. So hey everybody, welcome back to the RCTIC eSports Dota 2 Weekly. This is our third week of this weekly competition run every Sunday. I am Basekip, bringing you guys this game, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as introductions go, it's going to be Team winRAR on the Radiant side up against RCTIC eSports. We're going to be over on the Dire, and first pick is going to be going to the Radiant side this time around. That's pretty much about it as far as introductions go. This is our quarterfinal. So we're drawing towards the end of the tournament. There's still plenty of Dota coming up. We've got at least this best of one, then one of the two semifinals will be on this stream, and then obviously the grand final as well. So a minimum of 3 more games after this one. So still plenty more Dota action for you guys coming up this evening. And a reminder as always that Silencer is now in the pick ban pool for Captain's mode. So we might see some Silencer action in this game. So winRAR are going to start us off with a ban on the Keeper of the Light. They used a CK Wisp to great effect last game, so we'll see if they're going to be able to sneak that one through this time around. And BATRAD are going to be the priority ban from RCTIC here. And actually Silence are going to be banned out here by winRAR. So this is going to push at least something through into the pool. Darks are going to be removed by RCTIC, and Nyx going to be taken by winRAR. We do still have the Magnus in the pool as well to keep an eye out for, along with the Wisp. And we'll see. It really does come down to whether or not RCTIC have a Wisp player. It looks like they perhaps don't, especially going for that Lifestealer pickup. One of the most difficult carries, well, if not the most difficult carry in the game to gank with Relocate. So maybe making winRAR hesitate a little bit here, though they're going to lock in themselves. They're going to lock in a Rubik, a fairly natural pickup against the Magnus. And then we'll have to see what this last pickup is going to be. Wisp is still in the pool, and I don't think it's going to make it through to the other side. But it comes down to a question of whether or not they're happy playing the CK without the Wisp or the Wisp without the CK, because frankly they're not going to be able to get both, especially locking in that Rubik right now. And Rubik probably wouldn't have made it through, so I guess you can see where winRAR's priorities lie here. And I think they've also been pushed into the situation by that Lifestealer pickup again. It makes the opposing team's carry pretty nigh on ungankable by a CK Wisp Relocate gank. Yes, I'm still on top of the overlays. I'm developing a little bit of a headache and I'm getting a bit tired, but staying on top of the overlays and hopefully staying on top of the casting as well. And winRAR are now just considering their options. They could bump the Nyx up, grab themselves a Shadow Demon if they want more tools to deal with the Lifestealer. Though there are still plenty of avenues available that way. And Luna's going to be picked up here by winRAR. A fairly good carry against the Nyx. Has a lot of things going for her. She builds quite a bit of agility, which means that she has quite high armor, which is great against feast damage. She has good base move speed, which is great for kiting a Lifestealer around. She naturally builds into a Manta style, which is great for splitting out of open wounds, since you can avoid it that way. And then also naturally builds into a Butterfly as well, which is the bane of Lifestealer's existence. And speaking of banes, I don't know if that was a good segue or not, but bane's going to be picked up here by RCTIC. So we're going to see a bane pickup, fairly nice. They could look to run an offensive tri-lane off the back of this, though I suspect it may just be defensive, especially when you've got 600 range supports and the Luna and Nyx and Rubik not slackers at all when it comes to a defensive tri-lane, though they don't have someone like a Shadow Demon to bail Luna out if she's in a bad situation early on. So it really comes down to whether or not RCTIC are feeling confident as far as their execution goes. winRAR are going to choose to ban out the Lena here, and we're just going to have a Weaver and a Brewmaster ban from RCTIC. We've seen a lot of Brewmaster bans thrown out so far, though I guess this one motivated a little bit by the potential for him to be run mid. And always a very versatile hero to have, nice in those mid-game lineups as well. And sort of, I guess, a little bit sneaky as far as the teamfight goes. When you think of, okay, who's got big teamfight ultimates, he doesn't always necessarily come to mind, but he is definitely a contender, does definitely exist in that category. So we're going to see some more solo bans out from RCTIC, and more supports continue to be banned by winRAR, since it's fairly easy for them to just ban them out, since they've already locked their 2 supports, unless the Nyx is going to be bumped up. And that means that they can just throw support bans, throw whatever they don't want to be playing against, and significantly weaken RCTIC's chances of going for an offensive tri-lane against them. So
10 seconds.
winRAR, what's it going to be for them? They're still looking for their 2 solos, perhaps, unless they're looking for a
5
second
seconds
support,
remaining.
and then looking to run the Nyx on mid. So Quap is going to be taken as that mid. Puck is being banned out, and Gyrocopter going to be picked up here by RCTIC. So we'll see where he's going to be run. This might bump the Magnus across to the off lane, or perhaps even going to be running an offensive tri lane, and the immediate response from winRAR is going to be to pick up a Visage. So we'll see how that works out. It could be a solo mid Luna, a solo bot Queen of Pain, and then an offensive tri lane with Visage, Rubik, and Nyx. Plenty of options for them there, but it looks like it's going to be aggression from both sides pretty much regardless. And thank you very much, Masterisk, in chat. It's always very much appreciated to get some good feedback. Get some positive feedback. So just waiting on RCTIC to pick up their last tier. It could still be a farmer. Gyrocopter could be bumped back into a support role, but more than likely going to be seeing him getting at least a little bit of farm, and then grabbing this last support right now. There are still some options left in the pool, though a lot of the staples are already removed, so we'll have to see what it's going to be. It could still be a Wisp, not a bad combo with the Lifestealer. Though, if they're trying to fit into this offensive theme that they've got going on, we might do something a little bit different, and hopefully someone slightly more item independent than the Bane, who does pretty much need to get mana boots guaranteed, so it needs to be more or less in that 4 position as far as supports go. And we'll see what it's going to be in just a second. Well, at least 50 seconds. So, overall lineup for winRAR, they don't have a lot of... They have AoE presence in teamfights, but no big AoE stuns or anything like that. So nothing that's really comparable to the reverse polarity. But they do have the Rubik, which weakens the reverse polarity slightly, and if he can get his hands on it, it's going to be just as devastating. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do that in this game. And the Visage pickup, nice to have. We'll see if they're going to be able to leverage it for its offensive potential, or if it's just there to try and make RCTIC a little bit more afraid of running an offensive tri-lane against them, though Broodmother's going to be the pickup here. So, looks like Gyrocopter perhaps playing a bit of a support role. Magnus and Brood both definitely do need some farm, along with the Nake, so I think Gyrocopter's getting bumped back a little bit. Though we might just see a defensive farming Gyrocopter and looking to sort of semi-carry, but it's semi-carrying out of a support position as opposed to semi-carrying out of a mid position or something like that, so slightly weaker in that regard. We're going to be getting underway with the game in just a second, folks, so very much looking forward. Would have just been dropping frames for a little bit, but anyway, getting into the game over on the side of RCTIC, it's going to be Mogster playing the Lifestealer, Oivar is going to be playing the Gyrocopter. We've got EGE playing the Magnus. We've got RCTIC playing the Broodmother, and that leaves Gilnor to play the Bane. And yep, as Vicus says, we've got Kriatret versus RCTIC. So Kriatret's going to be playing the Rubik. Froze is going to be playing the Luna. We've got Tux on the Nyx Assassin, and Vicus is going to be on the Queen of Pain. And that leaves Ezalor to play the Visage. We get a little bit of level 1 team fight breaking out so far. The Impale misses the nuke. Well, the nuke and the sleep go out. Now chasing them away. Rocket Barrage on Tux. Open wounds up on him as well. He's now in trouble. Right clicks going that way. Everybody in the choke point. Soul Assumption spam going out. RCTIC trying to hide in the web. Gonna get impaled. Still just barely alive right now. Frozen stands his ground with the first blood drawn by Vicus with the Shadow Sting there. Well, with the sting there, Mogster. Now with the turnaround, they've still got the Lunar Blessing. Well, not even the Lunar Blessing, it's actually Lucent Beam working their way, but still a ton of right-click damage. Looking to make this into another kill, and it is going to be a double picked up there by Ezalor. So, nicely played by winRAR. They actually flubbed the initiation to start with. We saw the completely missed Impale, but nice turnaround, and yeah, no battle points since it is a practice match. And I'm now alone with the teams, since my admin is disconnected off, so hopefully we won't have too many things to try and resolve. Yeah, go remake. We need battle points. Thanks for the clarification there, Ezalor. Anyway, so our mid matchup is going to be an almost level 2 Queen of Pain starting off against the Magnus, who got, well, not actually that far behind right now as far as XP goes. Those 3 kills, not doing too much. It's going to be a solo top Bane up against this offensive tri-lane. And then Nyx, actually the solo on bottom up against the tri-lane that RCTIC are running. It was telegraphed pretty heavily with their draft, so we shall see. We'll see how this works out. They're choosing to dodge the tri-lane in both lanes. As far as push potential goes, it's actually better for RCTIC, so that they can actually put the aggression on up on this top lane and then try and take this tier 1, force some TPs out, and alleviate the pressure for the Nyx down on bot, who's actually got a Quelling Blade and a Stout Shield right now. So not a drop of regen up on him. And not a single ward on the map at the moment either. Gilnor still down here with his 2 obs in hand. There's some sentries up on the gyrocopter. Oh, and the Broodmother goes down again up on top lane. Sentry ward dropped. And winRAR, a nice easy pick off for them. So this top lane working out significantly better than the bottom lane is for RCTIC. And as soon as Nyx gets a point up in that Carapace, it's going to be significantly more difficult to kill him down in this bottom lane. Gilnor's going to come in from the rear, but he's only got the sleep. Open Wounds is available along with 1 point in Rocket Barrage. There's the, well, not Open Wounds used just yet. There's the Open Wounds, and looks like Tux is going to drop as well down in this bottom lane. Nice Impale thrown out to slow down Gilnor, but all he had was the Nightmare, which wasn't really needed. So RCTIC now on the map. XP still about 1k in favor of winRAR, pretty much from the word go, and about a 1500 gold lead as well. Arctic. Okay. I've just had a look in chat, so could be Arctic. I'd need clarification from one of the players. Maybe during a pause I'll ask, but yeah, we'll see. We've got a gank going around towards the Queen of Pain on mid right now. 1 point in the blink ready up, but in come Gilnor and Oivar looking for this one. The Sting already thrown out. Vicus goes up. The homing missile still on top of him. They need this Nightmare to try and find enough space for the homing missile to actually connect. And looks like Vicus is just going to be running his way all the way up towards top, where there are actually some waiting heroes. Heroes that just killed off the Broodmother, now looking to give the assist. Gilnor continues to chase, but Vicus now is going to be able to turn himself around, and Oivar is still here. They do get the Nightmare out, and one more homing missile going to try and slow the Queen of Pain's progress. They will be able to kill it off, however, so 23 gold going the way of Kriyatret. And they're actually going to pop off a smoke as well, now zooping towards mid. They've only got the lift available at the moment. And they go up, they spot someone, but that's going to be it. There isn't actually enough for the very expensive Soul Assumption on Ezreal right now. They're looking for EGE, but he's all the way back behind the tower. The Sting's going to fly out. Vicus pretty low, but EGE not going to fall for this one. And they're still looking for it. Kriyatret gonna reveal him. Oh, Kriyatret gonna reveal himself. There's a scream thrown out, but enough charges for the Soul Assumption, but not barely enough mana. So EGE just gonna back himself out. It's a little bit of farm going the way of Vicus, but not a whole lot overall. We do have supports now actually drawn up towards top lane with all the deaths on the Broodmother. And Tux with that finds a little bit of farm for himself down on bottom lane. So overall, winRAR have to be happier with what they've done so far in this match. They've managed to have Arctic or RCTIC running all the way around the map. And Kriyatret looping around right now, but there's still a sentry up. He's going to throw in a second set. Another web off to the side. Will be right-clicked a little bit, just out of range of the sentry there, as Frozer went for the Lucent Beam. So it's still just 1v1 matchup on mid, but Magnus going to be falling a little bit behind of the Queen of Pain right now. The Vicus not too far ahead. It's just the nature of the matchup, range versus melee. Slightly better rune control on the Queen of Pain. So Magnus doesn't really have a fun time. There is a Flying Courier up for him to try and do a little bit of bottle crowing. And Arctic right now, we've still got this winRAR hiding off in the trees. Those sentries have now expired. So they're going to get a fresh set sent out in just a second to try and continue finding kills on this Broodmother. While the two supports just hanging out at the moment, running some pulls, trying to keep things nice and defensive. But as far as levels go, there is about a 1.5 level edge to the supports on winRAR, so they've actually got the advantage as far as any skirmishes are going to go. On bot, Moogster is leading the farm, and not a whole lot that Tux can do to slow it down, but he's going to have a very fast level 6, and from there can look to quite easily gank either the Magnus or the top lane. And just throwing a little bit of harassment on Mogster right now. Gilnor walks around for the side, he's only level 2. Kriyatret in trouble, still in range of the sentry. Soul Assumption will be enough to kill him off. There's a Nightmare up on Kriyatret, but the homing missile flies through onto Ezreal. That's going to be about it for this top lane. And one more kill in the hands of winRAR right now. Ezreal still tanking up the Spiderlings a little bit. They're trying to go for a body block. Are the Spiderlings going to be enough? The swarm continues, and Broodmother does actually find that kill. Gilnor comes in, but it's now a 2-for-2. Well, it's now a 2-for-2 fight, and the Spiderlings still coming through. They get the Nightmare. They're waiting for the missile. Kriyatret going to be able to get the lift up into the air and throws Oivar down into range of the tower. Frozer going to turn himself around, but he doesn't actually have a Lucent Beam. Creeps come in at a very fortuitous time to soak up the last little bit of that Rocket Barrage damage. So Frozer will be able to survive and pop off his Tranquil Boots in just a second. Hopefully he'll drop his Bracer. Okay, he's not going to drop the bracer, but it doesn't matter that much. A very minor point. If he dropped the... Oh, it looks like he's topped off anyway. But had he dropped the bracer, then it would have been a little bit faster. And if he wasn't going to be topped off by the Tranquil Boots, then it would have been a little bit better, since it means that his total HP is smaller, he gets flat regen, and then when you actually gain health by picking up items and things like that, the percentage of your health stays the same, not the numbers. So if you have 200 health and you heal yourself to full and then you pick up an item, you stay at full health. It's trade swap mechanics basically for anybody who knows what I'm talking about there. And Tux, now with the Vendetta up, going to be making his way up towards top lane. We've got an Observer Ward down, but that's not going to stop the advancing Nyx Assassin. Are there any sentries around? Looks like maybe not, and Gilner the target underneath the tower. He's only level 4. They get the initiation, the Vendetta, the Impale. Not even the opportunity for a reaction there. Another creep wave comes in at the perfect time to try and find RCTIC. He's going to hide himself up in the trees, and the TP comes up from EGE. Now up to level 6, but not quite enough mana for a Skewer and Reverse Polarity combo. Mogster continues to farm down on bot and shows that he doesn't want to contribute at all in this game for a while, picking up that Hand of Midas. EGE up on top, still has a double damage online, tucks off to the side, Homing Missile coming through on him. He's only got a Carapace left and actually pops that one a little bit early or a little bit late, depending on what you think. Homing Missile's going to come in. I think this is one dead Nyx Assassin, and Vicus just standing and healing as I think he watches the top lane. So he maybe could have come in to try and scare off the Magnus and buy some time for Tux, but the kill picked up regardless. So winRAR still 3 on top. We've got Oivar, and we've got Gilnor making their way back up. Level 4 on each of those supports respectively, but Gilnor, not a drop of farm really up on him. Frozer almost has the Eclipse online, but with all of these Spiderlings, it probably won't be that effective, and Eslor gets nightmared up, but that's about it. Nyx comes up top for round 2. They've still got the Impale. They're going to jump on Gilnor one more time. No chance for response from him. Same story as we saw just a few seconds ago. It's pretty much deja vu there. EGE pops into the Roshan pit to grab himself some Arcane Boots. Vicus makes his way down towards bot, but he's pretty low on mana, and Mogster, not going to be all that worried about him. I think Vicus just coming down for the easy farm and get the lane pushed out. We've still got the dregs of a Haste up on EGE. Tux pretty low on mana right now. Every single time he comes out to gank, pretty much needs to head back to base since he doesn't have Arcanes or a bottle picked up at the moment. winRAR continue to put the pressure up on this top lane. RCTIC finding some levels regardless, but not finding a whole lot of farm. And winRAR now going to send Frozer down to the bottom lane. Mogster is actually a little bit stronger at this point in time. Just looking to match the carries up against one another, and the nature of the matchup should sort of be Frozer being able to harass the Nakes a little bit more, though he does need to be careful. He does have a drum and some Tranquil Boots up, so good move speed to try and just escape the Nakes. Tux on mid, farming up a bit, looks like he just wants to finish up his Arcanes and not head back to base. And it's actually going to be Vicus making a move up towards top, so we've got winRAR playing a little bit of musical chairs to try and find the matchups that they want. Do we have any sentries up on top? They're actually pretty far back, and that one's going to be going down in just a second. Vicus comes up to try and find some very easy farm on the Spiderlings, and will be successful in doing so. They're worth so much gold now as well. So RCTIC needs to be very, very careful with them, as you always do with the Broodmother. Mogster, the target down on bot. We've got the Familiars waiting off to the side, looking for the chain stun. And Eslor down here as well, 3 points up in the Soul Assumption. Tux finished up his Arcanes, will be spotted by EGE. We've got some pings going out. Ping on the bottom lane from Tux, and EGE going to be able to grab the 10-minute rune. That's actually what he was looking for, I suspect. Tux going to pop the Vendetta, just scares EGE back, and that's about it. We've got some pings going out, says, Nyx pop Vendetta, just back yourself off on the bottom lane. But is Mogster going to heed his warning? He's walking forward right now. He can rage, he can TP, but he needs to pop the rage properly, and Pale not going to be able to connect. Mogster walks himself away, but very, very dangerous from him. In comes EGE as well. That's going to be pretty much it for this bottom lane. Looks like winRAR, having invested so many heroes and having TP'd so many heroes down, will be going for this tower right now. And Vicus, the lone defender, up on top, looking to slow things down a little bit. We've got the Infest up in EGE, but the Birds have spotted all of this. We've got the Skewer in, and the Spiked Carapace pops. The reverse polarity goes. Regardless, EGE immediately bursted down, and the stolen reverse onto Mogster. The Eclipse comes in as well. Kriatek going to be dropping, and Mogster looking for this kill. Is it going to be enough? We've got a drum charge popping off, and nicely gained there by Frozer. What a team fight, frankly, from winRAR. Tux popped off the Spiked Carapace right as the reverse polarity came in. And RCTIC are going to call the GG well played. They're going to tap out, and that means that winRAR are going to advance to our semifinals. So nicely played, and yes, Kriatek winning over his doppelganger, Kriatek, in the end. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like it is RCTIC. So whoever said that in chat was right, and yeah, GG out. Everyone can see it in chat before it actually happens on the stream. But yeah, this is the Adroit's TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly. I'm going to wait around for, well, this is the third week of this weekly tournament. I'm going to wait around for the final score screen for the sake of the VODs. Looks like Broodmother's web is freaking out there. We've got strands of web flying up through the air. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this game. As always, I've been Baseskip, bringing you guys this one, and we're going to be back with probably a semifinal matchup that might be a little bit further away, given that this was a 12-minute GG. But thanks everyone for tuning in. A reminder, as always, that you should check out both Adroits and TT Esports on all of their respective social media sites. So that's adroits.net, where you can probably find all of those links for Adroits. And for TT Esports, it's facebook.com/TT Esports and at TT Esports for their Twitter. And all of the other links are on the overlay as well, if you guys want to support them. If you guys want to send me any feedback as far as my casting goes, my email is baseskipdota@gmail.com, and I love to hear constructive criticism. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We're going to be back with the rest of this tournament very, very soon. And yeah, hope to see you for that.